Biotechnology discipline, School of Biological Sciences and Biotechnology, welcome you all for the first technical session of this National Conference on Animal Sciences Integrated Solutions for Sustainability. The chairperson for this session is Professor Savita Kerkar, Senior Professor and Dean of School of Biological Sciences and Biotechnology, Goa University. The repertoire for this session is Dr. Siddhi Jalmi, Assistant Professor in Botany Discipline, Goa University. I now request the chairperson and the repertoire to take their seat on the dais. Thank you, ma'am. It's my privilege to introduce the chairperson of today's first technical session, Professor Savita Kerkar. She is a senior professor and dean of School of Biological Sciences and Biotechnology, Goa University. Professor Kerkar's research interest lies in microbial diversity and bioprospecting, extremophilic environments, hypersaline salt pens and polar ecosystem, biogeochemical processes and mangroves, and marine saltins and the Arctic. Bioremediation of heavy metals using heterotrophic and halotolerant bacteria, sulfate reducing bacteria from salt pans and the Arctic. Ma'am has a vast research and teaching experience of approximate 30 years. Professor Kerkar has more than 40 research publications in peer reviewed international and national journals, published 5 book chapters, and has completed 3 major research projects from CSIR and Ministry of Earth Sciences. Professor Kerkar is also a recipient of various awards and awards such as she was awarded as the best teacher of Goa state in 2019-20. Ma'am has also represented India in the 3rd Indian Arctic Expedition and 13th Arctic Expedition as a research scientist from 14 June to 16 July 2009 and 22nd June to 28 July 2019. With this, I welcome you, our chairperson, and also our repertoire for this session is Dr. Siddhi Jalmi, who is an assistant professor in botany discipline, Goa University. I welcome the repertoire as well. To begin with the first technical session and the keynote address of this first technical session, this first technical session will be delivered by our keynote speaker, Professor Krishnan Kumar Sharma. Professor Krishnan Kumar Sharma has served as a Vice Chancellor of MTS University, Ajmer, Rajasthan, India. Sir started his career as a researcher in Rajasthan University, Jaipur, and got selected as a permanent faculty as assistant professor in Rajasthan University. Sir has received various national awards, to name some: National Scholarship Study Abroad for Postdoctoral Research in 1984 Germany, Young Scientist Travel Fellowship Award, International Society Developmental Biologist USA 1985. Sir's research interest lies in investigating retinoids to cause whole limb regeneration and also induce regeneration in otherwise non-regenerating cases. Sir has also studied the molecular mechanism of action of retinoids. Sir's major research contribution involves a first report that vitamin A induces limb generation in adult frogs. Sir has completed projects from various funding agencies such as UGC, CSIR, ICMR, and DST. With this brief introduction, I now request Professor Sharma to deliver his talk.
One moment, one moment. Induced pluripotency. Yeah, you got it. So we are reaching towards good afternoon. So thank you, Goa University, Madam Kelkar, all the dignitaries who are sitting here, and the organizers who have given me chance to come here. Uh, Today's talk is really integrated, environmental biologist to molecular biologist. And environmental biology has given me chance to study molecular biology, and I am trying to integrate a discovery. Soon I'll come that how environmental science has given a chance, the biodiversity has given a chance that a discovery has come to the level of the Nobel Prize. And I'll give you the evidences that how it is touching to that area. I'm sure that you are all familiar to this slide I visited with Dr. Nitin. I asked Madam Kelkar just a few minutes ago that which is this area. She told me that this is Salim Ali Bird Sanctuary. So I went to see frogs and snakes. 3 4 years back, I came here, and I wanted to study that what kind of herpetofauna are there. I am interested to study amphibians and reptiles of India as well as of the world. So this picture, we visited several areas there to document some snakes, some frogs. These are the mangroves, and ultimately I come to this point that we were watching amphibians and reptiles by a visual encounter. That was very difficult. In 2007, I received a major research project to study the herpetofauna of Thar Desert and Central Aravallis. There are 37 species of the lizards, and in desert, it's very difficult to document. The moment you go there, then immediately they watch it, and then they go in the burrow. So several months, me and my team, they were watching them. It was very difficult to document. Then I was thinking that some modern technology should come there. So I devised a method, sonotaxonomy. I gave this world to the people of the physics and the environmentalists that with the sound, without watching the organism, you can document it very precisely up to the species level. So making a lot of collections of the data. These days you are watching on television and in media artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is nothing but simply inputting information in the various servers. It is analyzing, so collecting lot of data related to the acoustics of the sound, even of the snakes. They don't make much sound except the hissing of the cobra, viper, russell viper, but there are breathing sounds are also coming. These are in the range of the infrared. So I was doing a lot of work in this area, and you can see I just wanted to show a picture in which documentation of all the frog species sound was there. I'll show you once I complete this thing. So this is the theme of the today's lecture: retinoid induced pluripotency of cells, molecular tool of regenerative medicine, a significant Indian discovery of the century. See, this is not me. This is the International Journal of Developmental Biology, and many international people, they have given this statement. I am not giving. I was collaborator in this discovery. My research supervisor, Professor Iqbal Niazi, he came from McGill University, Canada. He was a regeneration specialist. And accidentally in 1977, we found, working with the thyroid, we forgot the thyroid, but we came to the pluripotencies of the cells. We found that the cells, once exposed to retinoid, even a differentiated cell become de-differentiated. 2012 Nobel Prize for the medicine was given to induced pluripotency to John Gurdon and Yamanaka. They were using different tools. John Gurdon, you might be knowing about the nuclear transfer experiments, those who have studied BSc zoology. And in Cambridge, 1968, he announced that you can convert the cells, differentiated cells, to a pluripotent cell. 2006, Yamanaka in Japan, he came out that if you take the transfer factors, these are the proteins, combined with the retroviruses, inject in the nucleus become pluripotent. The third group was working us. We were working, exposing the cell, bringing the retinoid to the gene that changes the pattern formation, converting a differentiated state of the cell to pluripotent cell. Unfortunately, 2012 Nobel Prize on this theme went to Cambridge and Japan. The third discovery, related discovery, better in efficiency, was from India, from our laboratory. So I am going to talk about this thing. And in this, how I am connecting the environment. Actually, environment has got lot of potencies. This potency in the bioprospecting people they are exploring, we explored the potency of the cells which are there in amphibians. You know, urodils, you cut the hand 1000 times, it is coming again and again. I'll show the picture. So people, they were exploring throughout the world that how a cell can become pluripotent in urodil naturally. Why not in human beings? So this is the theme of the today's lecture, connecting with the environment, that everything has come from the environment. I did not create the neurons and the urodils. I explored the possibilities of the pluripotency in these organisms in India and abroad. I was fortunate that most of the molecular biology research I could do in Europe, in America also. They wanted me to keep there. And I was advised when I was last assignment was there in Michigan State University Medical School that you stay here. Perhaps you may get chance to be in the Nobel. But I thought that I should go and work in India. There are a lot of scopes in India also. See, what is the significance of this research? How the research significance has come from tiny tadpole and the salamander larva. You can see this picture where heart attack is there. The person is suffering from the heart attack because there are certain problems with the coronary arteries or some muscles of the cardiac muscles have damaged. Now, what are the situation? Many cases when the heart becomes very, very incompetent to beat, then person dies. There is no chance. So the pluripotency has come up. The next century would be of the regenerative medicine. Wherever there is a damage in your body, I am telling to the young people that there is a scope of the induced pluripotency of the next more than 50 years. Whenever there is a damage in the any vital organ, you can induce the differentiated cells of that vital organ to generate them young embryonic. They may replace those damaged areas. You can see the heart attack in the person. You can see the tiny heart is developed or the heart muscles are developed. The upper picture is there. In these heart muscles are beating heart muscles. These are not the heart muscles. These were created by the induced. I am just showing how they are beating. You can see the heart muscles are beating. The fibroblasts taken from your body, converted to induced pluripotency, directed to become the cardiac muscles, and these are beating. So this is the invention that has come from our laboratory in 1977, and that has reached to big goals, which I am going to show you. We have got a lot of vital organs in our body, and with the aging or with many disease, they are going through some problems. Somebody is suffering from muscular damages, the nervous damages, or the cardiac damages, or whatever. So these organs have to remain in a very healthy condition so that there is no problem. And the induced pluripotency research can make you from a reversing clock by molecular tool. You may remain with the white beard or white hair, but you may become a young like this. This is going to come. I tell you, this is not only a small story, but this is going to happen in another few years with the development of the medical sciences. Why I spoke those words? It's a century research. One of the important, significant research discoveries of the developmental biology. This is published in an American journal, International Journal of Developmental Biology. They mentioned about this Indian discovery that this is one of the significant discoveries in India they have developed in retinoids. And I am also part of this discovery. This is my doctor father at the 96 years of age. Last 24th February, Professor Iqbal Ahmed Niazi, he died. And I was collaborator. I was very fortunate that with this big man, I was collaborator, and he has written a lot about this thing. And you can see in the acknowledgement in this publication, a CSIR grant received to me. My name is written here. These documents are submitted whenever you are claiming for Nobel Prize or a big award. I just want to tell you that many times in Asia, in India, many young students, even after making some big research, either they go abroad and they are working in some other laboratory, or they are so shy. If you have done excellent research, you say, no, how can I go to this big award? I never thought that equivalent to NASA, NIH would give me a big position in the United States. I never thought that Heinrich Hertz scholarships, Humboldt Fellowship would come to me. Simply bringing your information boldly before the world. So I claim this thing that this is an important discovery equivalent to the Nobel of 2012 that was given to John Gurdon and Yamanaka. Why not to Indian? Why don't we come out? And it is not me who is speaking, it is the world who is speaking. There was a time Britishers wanted to encroach this research. You might have heard about the basmati, you might have heard about the turmeric and neem. There it is the discovery of America, and they wanted to go for the patent. Dr. Narlikar fought a lot. He was CSIR Director General. That this is Indian research. This is Indian conventional knowledge. Similarly, what happened when we published this research, then a Britisher invited Dr. Niazi. In 3 months, he took nearly everything from his brain. When he returned, 5 publications in the name of Malcolm Maiden appeared in Nature. So everybody, Nature is a big journal. Everybody started thinking, no, it's Malcolm Maiden, he has discovered this thing. Then a scientist from United States, so come, and a scientist from Japan, he came. He said, it's an Indian discovery. In 1977, it is earlier than 1982. So we'll have to give this evidence about the discovery, that it is not the British discovery, this is Indian discovery from Rajasthan University, Jaipur, where I was working, and he has given a lot of my references. And these references I am generating, I am putting again before the Nobel, before the international organizations, that when a research is coming to the level that it is being explored in the medical sciences. King's College London has recently, after COVID-19, when many people, they lost their alveoli of the lungs, they use retinoids. To research is coming practically to ICMR or coming to the international medical sciences. Needs recognition. If you open the page, if you write in the Google search, retinoids in limb regeneration, K.K. Sharma. Limb regeneration was a model, I tell you. Just to study that pluripotency can be created, I'll give you evidence here. So thousands of papers are there, international paper in which these references are there, signifying that an Indian research can go to the level that alveolar regeneration is possible. And I am giving you retinoid acid in alveolar development, maintenance and regeneration, Malcolm Maiden and Matthew Hinn from King's College. In this review, they have given that a discovery of a molecule in India using the pluripotency in regenerating limb is now helping the COVID patient to repair their lungs. And many people in Western world, they are using, I am sure that in India also this will come. And this is the evidence that those people who damage their lungs in COVID, you are all familiar about the COVID-19 and how damage, and tell you that a molecule is existing. It exists in the body. But until 1977, if you see the literature, people used to tell this molecule about the retina, that we are watching through the retinoid. It is true. Nobody knew that this molecule is able to make developmental potencies after making the changes in the gene expression, which I studied in molecular biology later on. And friends, the value. After 2 years of this discovery, I published a paper in Experientia. I wanted to have a reprint of this paper. Springer is asking me to pay 34 euro. So your research should not sit in the almiras as black and white paper. It should come before the world. We should always think that whenever there is a problem before the society, we should address to it. Whether it is a problem related to environment, whether it is a problem related to anything. So as a 40 years experience in my science, I found that tissue engineering, stem cell technology, anti-venom development, bioprospecting, biocaustics for species identification. I gave a word to the world, sonotaxonomy. It never existed. Many people in physics, many people in mathematics, they tried to classify the sound waves. It was not possible. I converted the sound waves into discrete frequency point using the Fourier equations of the mathematics and could classify the sound. With this tool, I developed many small softwares to identify the animals without watching them. So these were certain things which I addressed during my career. This is a very nice example. Axolotl I use in Europe because we don't have axolotl in India. You cut the hand anytime, and this hand is regenerating because the adult cells are having pluripotency to give rise to the hand requirement. This is happening many times in the accidents, and I was interested. This is a part of my PhD thesis. I did my research on studies on the retinoids and regeneration and how to induce regeneration in Jaipur. There is a Jaipur Food Center, you might be knowing, and we are providing a lot of hands and legs. When I used to visit the center, many people with amputated hands and legs, they used to come. Why you are coming? Why you are taking our interviews? What are you doing? When I used to say that I am working for you, they would come when you will be able to regenerate your lost fingers, your lost hands, and other things, because we are studying some technologies. So stem cell technology has got the aspect which I am showing you. If you are having the stem cell, these are the stem cells, pluripotent stem cells. These are present in the blastocyst during our development in our mother's body. But once we are developed, then these are differentiated and they never go back to de-differentiation. But if we get these cells, you can prepare the circulatory system, you can prepare the nervous system, you can prepare the immune system, you can prepare anything. And this is the publication. It was sometimes your hard work and your luck and opportunity also comes that I amputated. It is 1977. Amputated the hand of an adult frog. It was written in the literature that it would never come again by any tool. A lot of methods have been applied by many people in the world. When I applied the retinoid is a simple. It is present in your body. When you eat carrot or spinach, the beta carotene is broken down into two molecules of retinoid that we call vitamin A. It is stored in liver, it goes to your eyes, or it is performing several functions, but never knew before 1977 that it can induce pluripotency. It can do morphogenesis. It can do so many other functions. So this is the publication that made, and that gave me chance. Many people, when it came in Switzerland, very famous journal Experientia, repeated this experiment in their frog species. Why I'm emphasizing the frog? It is the part of nature. If we don't know nature, if we don't conserve the nature, then these organisms would disappear. We will not find the keys to do all this research. After getting the Nobel Prize, John Gurdon sent me several mails and he was not very happy. He told me that Indian contribution should have been accepted in the Nobel. And still, we are good friends. I work with him in Cambridge. He said that you change it. Why you stop it? Because when a discovery is coming to the practical application in the world, then someday people, they will identify that from where it came. So friends, since you are in zoology, I tell you what is this pluripotency and how this small tadpole of the frog or urodil helps you. Those organisms which are there in your mangroves, those organisms which are present around you, they have got great potency. Day before yesterday, when I received a mail from Dr. Paul Raj from Chennai Snake Park, this is the first snake park, that you are appointed as a technical advisor of the snake park. I was very happy, astonished also, because there are so many people, they are showing snakes, holding snakes and doing a lot of snake stunts. I am studying these snakes for their wealth. I have suggested to Government of India that when cobra has got more than 10,000 rupees value, and we have got trillions of cobra in India. We have got a lot of microbial population in the ocean also. The only thing is, sometimes, our young students, once they get an opportunity to divert themselves, they run away. So please continue your research. If there is a possibility that you are not getting any tool, but nowadays in India, all laboratories, they are having these tools, you continue and stay here. Focus on your research. Don't rush, and try to come to a level that your research is helpful to the society. So these cells were the task for me, that how to convert them pluripotent, that only those structures which were amputated by, you have studied regeneration, restoration of lost part of the body is regeneration. In this, only that damaged part comes again. So I have seen more than thousands papers from Europe that they wanted to get here, not the amputated structure, but more than that. Nobody succeeded. We were working, and the focus was on the cell. See, this is a differentiated cell. Madam, we have to convert this differentiated cell to this pluripotent cell, yellow color. I have given the mark yellow color. The John Gurdon, what did? He removed the nucleus, and this nucleus of differentiated was removed, transferred the undifferentiated nucleus from the ovum, and it became undifferentiated. A famous experiment from the Brocks and Kings. Then Japani fellow in 2006, he was an orthopedic surgeon. He used transverse factors, retroviruses, introduced in the nucleus, very difficult, and success rate is also very poor. He could induce pluripotency. He got Nobel Prize. And there are so many details are there that in the Nobel addresses they have given, that how they develop these things, induce pluripotency. And we Indians, in 1969 to 1977, the differentiated nucleus exposed to retinoid converted to a pluripotent nucleus 100%. The efficacy in the other systems, those who got Nobel Prize, was 2% or 8%. It is 100%. The laboratory they used for converting the dedifferentiated cell, huge laboratory of millions. Here only 3 rupees molecule. I completed my total PhD in 3 rupees. A vial from the Roche that gave me pure retinol palmitate and converted 100% differentiated cells to dedifferentiated cell. Why not to chase for the Nobel Prize? See, if I put before any scientific world that this is the discovery, equivalent discovery, what is the harm? And this is present in the international journal. More than 20 papers are there in Nature, followed by this discovery. A lot of publications are there in many American, many journal. And this, if we will get any time. See, yesterday it was National Science Day. Raman, he was considered a very simple man, but when he saw the color of the sky and chased it, he got Nobel Prize. When he declared on 1928, before the Royal Society, about the Raman effect, these pictures, I converted these differentiated states to de-differentiated states, and these are in the international journals. I am sure they would consider this also to be a Nobel Prize. Research, these are the publications. So this is the picture from my doctoral research long back. When amputated the hand, only loss structure came. When amputated the hand and exposed to retinoid, complete hand came out. This was in Eurodeal. It was never reported before any, you can check in any journal on internet. The whole limb regeneration by induced pluripotency was never done by any person in the world except our Indian group. And these 3 pictures are from my PhD thesis. I am keeping this for the historical report. The leg was amputated through the femur. A complete new leg came. When we sent it for the publication, a reviewer said, "Oh, you might have sticked. आपने कहीं चिपका दिया होगा." चिपकते हैं क्या? पैर को चिपका दिए जाते हैं क्या? Then I did the internal organization with the X-ray, etc. You can see, even not only complete leg was produced by these pluripotent cells, but a girdle. See, developing a girdle in adult body is impossible. There is not a single picture in the world in developmental biology that in adult body somebody has created girdle, hip girdle. We did it. So these are various evidences that how we have shown before the world. So how IPCs are produced. Yesterday night, I produced this slide by nuclear transfer, Nobel Prize 2012, 1968. Third, by transferring, it's a sequence in years, in the nucleus in 2006. See, 1968, 1977, and 2006. 1968 has been honored with Nobel Prize, 2006. And these are very less efficacy. And 1977, 1982, waiting for that honor, and I'm sure we will get it. So these cells, pluripotent cells, are very important in our body. And I tell you, next century is an era of the regenerative medicine. We would It would be very difficult for human being to die. Just like in Hydra, Hydra, whenever there is a possibility of the abnormal situation, there is a regeneration of the birds. Similarly, what would happen? You have got a lot of vital organs. Whenever there would be any damage, you would generate the pluripotent cells. They will repair the damaged organs. So you may survive 150 years or 200 years or whatever. This is people, they are speaking about all these things, that you can generate the cells, you can transfer the cells. All these things are there. These are the details about the molecular biology, etc., which I don't want to tell you. But these are the nice evidences we have given before the world, that how it is developing. I show you a picture related to environment because I wanted to integrate. Dr. Shamshad told me that, sir, this is integrated biology conference, and in which some component of the zoology should be, environment should be there. So I am bringing the, can I bring the another folder? Can you bring it back? No, not in this folder.
The same one?
Yeah, next folder. Yeah, bioacoustic. But last 2 3 slides, and then I'll end it up. You just open. How I am. Wait a moment. Working with the tigers, working with other organisms, that how bioacoustic tools or the sonotaxonomy is helping us. It's another lecture, so you can make it full projection. Okay, kar do. See, sonotaxonomy. I have completed my task related to pluripotency, how I am integrating it. You can see these are 13 species of amphibians from central India. It was very difficult to document. Some of these species, like Euprodon cystoma, comes only for 15 days, then it goes in the burrow. So what I did it, you can see the sound waves. I converted these sound waves to discrete points and plotting them. We call them spectrogram. Many people, they have prepared spectrogram in the world, but spectral analysis to the species identification, I did it. And in this you can find like these are the spectrogram. These are very consistent. Then you feed in your artificial intelligence. This will tell this is Euprodon cystoma that has come. And this is very simple. I have designed certain sensors. These are the acoustic sensors. And see, I have done a lot of computer biology also. When in India we were not having PCs, in 1984 I had Apple Euro Plus computer in Germany. I was director computer center for 24 years in university. It's a software that you can make the classifier a tiger or a lion or a frog or whatever. Whenever the call comes to the sensor, these red boxes are sensors sitting anywhere. You are sitting in the Goa, and then you can see that the display comes on the Excel sheet. The Panthera tigris identified at 0.852 second time. All details comes here without watching the animal. So this thing I did it for all organisms, and I am doing these days with the snakes. So you can close it up. Thank you very much, ma'am. I wanted to convey these things, that nature is important, environment is important, species are important. We must learn from these species. Madam Kelkar told 2.5% biomass is ruling and destroying. So let's keep that we 2.5% biomass, learn something from these species, get something. A small tiny tadpole has given Nobel Prize. So why not to explore other species also? Why not to explore the fish? Why not to explore the birds or whatever present before them? Thank you very much. With the permission of the chair, I can answer question if you are having in your brain.
So thank you, Dr. Krishnan, for your very informative lecture on retinoid-induced pluripotency of cells. Um, he would actually, we don't give a chance to answer, ask questions for the main lecture, but he would love to take some questions. So if you have any questions, please be open to ask.
Any question, particularly for the young generation who are pursuing their research or studies? Any question if you are having? You have all potential to go to the great international level, including any big award. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Very nice. See, when heart attack comes, then everything goes away, everything is over. But when through our micro sensors, we will realize that these are the areas in our heart which are showing alarm much before attack, much before. Suppose heart attack is coming in 2030, and if you come through your micro sensors in your body, nowadays, these technologies are developing, then the pluripotent cells would, directed pluripotent cells, these cells would be directed, go there, repair the left branch of the coronary third that is damaged here. This way we will overcome from this problem. Give mic to her, give mic to him.
How early it can be detected by these microsensors?
Uh,
Approximately.
See, sir, I am developing tool for repair. There are people, when train is running, then there is a staff. They are monitoring the running of the train. There is a driver, there is a guard. So my job is here, but there are people who are doing this work with micro sensor. All the vital organs they are monitoring. A time would come soon. Some people, they are using the genomic tools, because on your gene it is written that when this situation is going to come. Maybe within a year, 2 year, all those things will come in the hands of the human being, and we will all remain. Those who are old, they will remain young, and those who are young, they would never become old. Thank you, sir.
Oh, very nice. Nice work, sir. Thank you. We have to live with the hope.
Yeah, always, always. Yeah. Sarangi sir.
Just a knowledge utilization part of your sono
Taxonomy.
Yeah.
Sono taxonomy.
You see, when you do any PCR, for example, it will be better for me to explain when I put myself with some background that what I want to know really. It's a query rather from my side. When you do PCR, there's a reference gene. So we know that this is the gene based on the sequence it is amplified. Similarly, in sono taxonomy, your system can identify very many species of the same genus. Yeah, if I'm not wrong.
Same genus and same age group also.
Yeah. So is there a specific trait of their sound wave based on which you have mapped them? And it is so specific that every age group of every species produce a different noise? Is it like that?
May I answer?
The second part will be
Let me answer the first part.
interference. Interference.
See,
So that I will not
you,
ask
you
more
give the
questions.
second question, because the first is very interesting. I'll ask you to see. I have 157 genes in US Gene Bank of Herpetofauna. I have done a lot of PCR and all these molecular technologies. First thing I would like to tell you, have got this background. The reference, he's asking like the reference sequences. When you are studying the physics, in sound physics, there are fundamental frequencies, there are dominating frequencies, and there are harmonics. Three components are the reference components. All these species are having a key numeric value to this. This would never change. Suppose I have got coughing, मेरी खांसी आ रही है, and you will asking, tell your name, sound sampling. You know, these days sound sampling is very difficult to analyze. In the forensic science, they are asking you explain this sound sampling. So here, the basic, that is fundamental frequencies, dominant frequencies and harmonics which are present in the spectrogram. Every point has got a numeric value. So for each species, we have developed a base reference value in the sonotaxonomy. Whenever this software comes across any such signal, it searches in the server. And whenever it comes across that 21997 is euprodontostoma, it click and say the euprodontostoma. Your second question, please. First is convincing or not?
Yeah, I have understood that you have done a lot of the sound acoustics with respect to the different sound, and you have assigned a discrete value. That's how you
I have studied electronics deeply. I have studied mathematics, Fourier deeply, sound physics deeply. Then I have come across, Brazil bioacoustic people, they were not accepting. It's unfortunate that whenever some big discovery come from India, people, they ask me that you come to Potchefstroom, South Africa. There is an international conference. Tell that sonotaxonomy. I had already published it in a very famous Alltech journal from Switzerland. I told them, I traveled there. I told them that these are the technologies, because those people who know only environment, those people who knows only zoology, it would be very difficult. You'll have to understand subject very deeply in different spheres. I convinced them in Potchefstroom University, South Africa, and now they have put the stamp, yes, sonotaxonomy from India is accepted. Thank you. What is the next question?
Is it patentized now? Your sonotaxonomy?
Patent is not required. It's a technology.
No, it's available in public domain.
Yeah, public domain.
One can use it
Exactly.
by reference.
Yeah. I am using for the defense services also. Whenever some person is unknown sound is doing, there are so many things with the Kolkata Statistical Institute I am doing with many agencies. Don't want to disclose those names also.
Okay, you have to disclose because you have to put it into public domain so that others can also get
No, but
benefited.
if I have a MOU with you, then why should I disclose that I have got MOU with the Sarangi? Yeah, next question.
Now, I understand that because there is a discreteness, there will be no interference. I was asking to the other very many noises available in nature, starting from automobile to airplanes to different type of friction noise, and with respect to this biological noise, because these are from biological systems and those are from other systems. Probably now I understand that you have put discrete values to your biological noises. Therefore, there will be no interference, if I am not wrong, or there is a chance of interference.
See, I didn't want to give the answer because it is also in the course of the patenting. Whenever a sound is coming, I am speaking before you here, the sound is coming from different sectors. When you are writing algorithms, in algorithm, you have to put certain numerical values that these are the storms, these are the people paid, these are the jet engine, this is the crowd sound. These are filtered. And what you are getting to your server, that is identifying a clean sound of the particular thing that you want to have it. So you have to devise the software, which I devise. Like when I am studying in Salim Ali Center, bird sound, suppose Nitin tells me that, sir, we are studying only the sound, but there are a lot of sounds are coming. So we are gathering other sounds, preparing the algorithm, filtering through the algorithm, and then we are getting the clean sound. Thank you. Any other question?
Yeah, I have a question, sir. It was a really integrated talk from you. There's lots of young generation sitting in front of you. Since you touched upon the Nobel Prize work, okay, can you just inform the students what is the route taken for making your entry into the Nobel Prize?
See, the first step is your research should be a breakthrough. Your research should be applicable to anything. It should not be only theoretical. You are writing 100 papers, putting in the Almirah. I don't like those people who are writing papers and putting in the Almirah. It should come on the platform. Then once it comes on the platform, then now today is the internet. Earlier period, these were propaganda through the ministries and other thing that this is a big research from our country. Nowadays, internet people, they are smelling it. Suppose Dr. Sarangi or Madam, you are doing some work, then it immediately comes there. These people, they contact you. So I am in touch with those people. Then there is a nomination, international nomination. There was a nomination for us also for this Nobel Prize, but it was a poor nomination. So for those young students, first come up with very breakthrough research, dedicatedly working there. People, they will come forward. And when there is a, I tell you, once they will screen, every year they are taking a theme. The day when they will screen alveolar regeneration with retinoid, they would go in the deeper part that from where this component has come. Definitely they will come to you. Oh, it's your research. Thank you very much. Give the evidences. Then they ask the evidences. So I'm preparing a lot of Pulanda, like I have shown you certain evidences. Then like Okada has mentioned for Indian Institute Science Bangalore, you know this name, big name. Dr. Nanjundaya has written a big article on me in July 2022, a big discovery from an Indian scientist. Indian Institute Science Bangalore is not a very small thing. It's a big institution. And a permanent chair is also not a small thing. He asked me, Dr. Sharma, tell me these things. I provided the evidence. He wanted to have evidence, that you tell me the evidence that you claim that you are a discoverer. Then I gave the publications. So this is the way you'll have to work. I am sure that maybe I am a bit older that time, but if any of you, young generation, would come for the Nobel research, you should do it. See, कई बार कहते हैं छोटे मुंह बड़ी बात. I never accept such things. Nitin can also claim for the Nobel Prize. Anybody can. In the Western world, everybody is thinking that I'm a good scientist. But here we are saying, no, I don't want to ask a question. I have not done anything. This should not be there. My aim to come here, traveling 6-hour halted journey, a bad journey yesterday night, to tell the young students particularly that be very confident, very strong, and whatever good you have done, you should claim before the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir, for a very informative session. Your research reflects your immense contribution towards the scientific community. So I request you to be present on the stage. Ha, sir. I now request Professor Savita Kerkar, chairperson of this session, to present a token of appreciation to Professor Sharma. Sir, kindly consider this as the Nobel Prize from Goa University. Thank you, sir. Now we will begin with the first invited talk of this session. This talk will be delivered by Dr. Bijaya Ketan, Sarangi. Dr. Sarangi is a senior scientist at CSIR, National Environmental Engineering Research Institute, Department of Science and Technology, Government of India, Nehru Nagar, Maharashtra, India. Sir's area search, sorry. Sorry, sir. Sir's area of research specialization include environmental science and environmental management, development of green sustainable technology and products, plant biology and biotechnology. Sir has conducted various training for institution and also visited various countries for scientific and technical program. With this brief introduction, I now invite Dr. Sarangi to deliver his talk titled Sustainability Issue of Highway Ecosystem, Challenges Integrated Solution.
There is only one PPT outside the folder. Yeah. Two slides. Yeah, let it be there. You have no.
Yes. So you can use this for a pointer and just change the slide.
This is appointed, yeah. Good afternoon, everybody. Honorable Chairman, Madam, and am I audible or I should have no? Yeah. Or I need to use it here. Okay, fine. I'll use it from here. I ask very many ruthless questions to me because I am not a academician. I am not a professor. Essentially, I am a technocrat. Means we capitalize on knowledge. And when I saw the poster, the announcement of this conference, it was a good fortune of me, one of your faculty, had some association with me long before. And when I saw it's animal science, I am not a, I don't have a background of animal science, but I am a life scientist. So I thought, how do I feel it, fit to this thing? I have deliberately put this string of your conference brochure, a DNA, a strain, and the organisms there. And when I saw the theme area, biodiversity conservation system, it came to my mind that when you say environment, I immediately remember the Panchabhuta, Khitis, Up, Tej, Marut, Vyom. Then I saw this picture, which is there in the here, it probably represents everything of these Panchabhutas. You have a frog, there is water. You have a plant in the left hand. You have butterflies. You have snails. You have a mouse, a terrestrial ecosystem. You have fish. You have birds. I think probably it will be a platform where I can fit myself to put my thoughts, my ideas, what I mean to say, the business of knowledge. We are all into the present time, into the term business. And what we are doing, knowledge business. Business is nothing, something wrong. Yeah. If you say, I have knowledge or you have knowledge, the very ruthless question is asked, knowledge for what? आपके पास जो ज्ञान है आप उसको क्या करेंगे? एक ज्यादा रोटी मिलने वाला है क्या? So we should ask everyone into this activity that what we will do with our knowledge. Having this background in my mind and the theme of this conference, integrated solution for sustainability. For a scientist, these are very, very big meaning keywords. Integration, solution, sustainability. And I thought the theme of wildlife and biodiversity conservation is one of the area where I can put forth my topic here. And I have come with a topic here which I will present. Wildlife and biodiversity conservation along highway ecosystem. I'll give some background of this. Long back, there was a notification in the newspaper how national highway can be utilized for nation building. It clicked to my mind. What are the issues along national highways and how it can be utilized? And we are into knowledge utilization business, yeah. Knowledge is already generated. We also contribute there as scientists for knowledge generation. But when you grow up to a particular stage, before you demit, you think that whatever I have learned, whatever I have gathered, whatever I have been able to generate, I should try to apply it for the benefit of humankind so that they can generate wealth or wisdom. So I took that to the highway ecosystem, putting the challenge to me that national highway side lands remaining idle for a long time. Yeah. For every 4-lane national highway, they have 90 meters of land. And you can see all through the countries, there are carriageway and by the side of it, there is lanes remaining free. The land remaining idle, unutilized for long time, considering that highway when we'll expand it, will utilize that land. How pertinent is that question? A land which was having forest, which was having habitat, has been destroyed or reconstructed to a carriageway. Now, that land which is not utilized, considering that it will be utilized in future for more highway land construction, remaining idle for years. Can we not utilize that land for wealth generation? So, having that in my mind, I approached the National Highway Authority of India that let us utilize that highway site with wasteland and change the present scenario of highways to this situation. And we have to see that we should take the pride that we have made this thing happening in India. The first express highway of India was made between Mumbai and Pune. When that was done long before, and it was taken a great pride that you see we have made a high speed highway lane. But subsequently, the extent of pollution along with that clicked to my mind, and I put this before the ministry that you see, you couldn't foresee that this highway is not only, you that time thought that the highway is only for connectivity between places, but now the scenario has changed. We have to utilize the highway for nation building. So with this background, today I present my presentation. I have oriented because time is very important. I want to stick to time because time is the whole essence of every activity. So I will orient myself along this thing: origin, relevance, genesis, approach, outcome, and success story. Under this thing, I will present my talk today and put my ideas, my thoughts before you people, so that the theme of this conference: how is the ecosystem along highways? What are the challenges? How to address this with simple or some approach, and we can develop the ecosystem along with that. And that ecosystem, which is fundamental for biodiversity buildup, which essentially takes fauna into consideration. Of course, I am mostly into plant science, but in environmental engineering science and considering the theme, I have put that I also sum up some things regarding the faunal diversity along highways. So this slide presents me what are the issues along national highways. Why should we bother or break our head along national highways? And find out something. What are the challenges and how it fit to the present day scenario, which is topical, discussed in many forums. You see, the highway has gaseous pollution, so much, yeah, suspended particulate matter, greenhouse gas production, glare and temperature, visibility issue, biodiversity loss, and very many things, which we all encounter along national highways. Being a technocrat and into knowledge business, now we put ourselves into the challenge how to address these issues along highways. Now the question comes: is it relevant? Is it pertinent? Is it local? Is it global? Or it is universal? Are you discussing all this issue? So here I put some frameworks. Now, if you have paid your attention some 2 years back, before the COP14 was happened and before this COP26 happened, now everybody in political sphere and governance are telling ecosystem. If you look to the clip of our honorable prime minister followed by other ministers, bureaucrats, which were earlier considering environmental science, engineering, and basic science knowledge are probably not useful. Only the technocrats, decision, administration were important. But now if you see, all are talking about ecosystem. And ecosystem, they are using those words, Panchagabya, Panchabhuta, all these Panchakarma are coming to their dialects. And we always, it is what natural, leaders are to be followed. So we see that now there is a very important thing which everyone should look into any aspect as a system, not as an individuality. Here comes the essence of integration. All knowledge, science, whether it is science or humanities, should need to be integrated to decide or to bring something new into a system. And here we will be talking about highway ecosystem, where I have shown the problems. Now, how important is this? How important is this issue discussed under the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs? Yeah, we all now see that the global summit is going on, COP conference of parties workshops are going on. Most recently, it was held in Glasgow. And what are the themes which were discussed, chalked out, as we are trying to understand something today to come out with some concrete conclusion of this activity, this seminar, where we are sitting and deliberating on some issues. Now, if you see the agenda 15 and agenda 13, which I have encircled here, they are essentially talking about land and climate. I am not talking about the other aspects because it becomes very wide and we cannot cover to all the things. I am trying to confine myself to this. And you will see that the all importance is given into restoration of land ecosystem, because it is considered that if you restore the land ecosystem, then you can sustain the future. Sustain the future means enough for yourself, enough for the future generation. In very simple words, not the other definitions. And sustainability, all this thing has been well told by Indian civilization well before it was told in Rio de Janeiro. Young people say that it was given by this, that. Because I say the Panchabhuta and the Dasavatar were all where this sustainability was discussed already by this civilization, the Indus Valley civilization. They all, thus avatar, we are taken, we are incarnated to establish Shantulan, Shantulit, जो हम बोलते हैं, which is called in English, other words, in their term, sustainability. So if you analyze the Matsya Kruma, Rama, Parshuram, Varaha, Nrsimha avatar, you will see that in all stages there is something going to break down. To restore it, somebody came and he established this, and that avatar was finished, ended. So all these things are already discussed, and in the present time this is being discussed under Sustainable Development Goal, and we are looking to different aspects. All other aspects I will be confining about 15 and 13 today. And there is a yardstick now in the present time how to assess it. When you say sustainability development, how to assess it? Just I will be henceforth, after this genesis, I will be very fast in my success stories. So there is a need to make the background. Therefore, I am telling how this theme fits to this. You see, this is conference of parties meeting, conference of parties meeting 14, which was held in New Delhi in 2015. And what was discussed there? What was the theme? That was prevent desertification, combat desertification. Is highway side land is deserted? Probably yes. Is that only thing? Only the deserted part? No, there are very many other parts which looks deserted. And deserted means devoid of vegetation. Devoid of vegetation means devoid of habitats. Devoid of habitats means biodiversity loss. The same thing was, this was COP14. This was again reiterated in COP26, Glasgow, recently, 2021. What they want, we want to achieve under that, they have reiterated, adapt to protect natural habitats and communities, protect and restore ecosystem, build defenses. So this how signifies the importance of natural habitat. Now, here, taking this background, the present decade, 2021 to 2030, is ecosystem restoration. So all of us, in whichever stream we are, we should integrate our knowledge, utilize, bring it to a common platform, contribute to whatever extent we can to bring up ecosystem restoration towards achieving sustainable goal. And what is ecosystem restoration? Reimagine a land to convert into a habitat, recreate and restore it. Why it is important? Why I am gradually coming to the topic land, habitat, and I have still hidden the most important keyword, plant, which I will be telling subsequently. Out of the all Panchabhutas, out of the all 17 SDG programs, the most and important program goes around, integrate around the earth, the land. Therefore, probably out of all other Khitis of Tej, Morud, Byam, only earth is considered, land is considered the mother. We all know how important is mother in our life. No other component is called as a mother. So this again signifies, if we can restore the land ecosystem, then certainly we are able to maintain the biodiversity. So what are the strategies? And all these points, all the sustainable development goals goes around. Because of the paucity of time, I will not elaborate any one of them very much. I'll try to just put for the essence before you. Every point needs a deliberation of hours or maybe a day or days to come out that no poverty, what to be discussed, what are the strategies, what are the indices, how to assess, what are the action plans. Similarly, life on land, 15, that we are discussing. And all this what is seen around industries, elephants, plant, birds, soil system, cultural importance, biogeographical cycles, cleaning of pollutants, human habitation, all this is around the one matrix, that is the land ecosystem. Now, a concept has emerged that LDN, land degradation neutrality. How we should bring out neutrality so that land is not degraded, land environment is not degraded. So it is told that try to reverse wherever feasible some of the productive potential and ecological services of degraded land. Now, when I say restoration, ecological services or ecosystem services of degraded land, I mean to say about highway side land. Now the things here comes, why it is a ecosystem? हम सब लोग we often say that computer is a system, param is a system, bus is a system, train is a system, but environment is not a system. We say components. But we should essentially, being a student of biology, natural science, we should say it is a much, much more complicated system than any other system. One is 1 plus 1 is 2. It is always, it will remain 2. But here, there are so many variables, there are so many components which behave in a different way with respect to space and time and environmental and condition, physical condition, heat, moisture. There are many variables. And this ecosystem is a very complex entity. Why it is a complex entity? There is an association of living organisms, non-living components, and they both interact to function as a system. Like your computer is a system, it is a hard disk, it is a motherboard, it is a power system, it is a keyboard, and it is operating system. All they work together to give you a file, MS doc file. Similarly, when you say ecosystem productivity, ecosystem restoration, land as a ecosystem, its restoration for build-up of habitat, these are the components. And in these components, faunal diversity is very important, which essentially depends on vegetation. Means first is the soil. Soil should have plant, and on the plant or even inside the soil, for any faunal diversity, you said have this organic matter first. How the soil organic matter is built up? It is essentially built up from the decayed, degraded parts of the plants. How the birds sustain? You should have a plant of bird, of the specific bird and tree association. Then you can have a habitat. And this habitat is a very dynamic entity. You change the tiger population, the human interference in forest increases. You change or you alter the deer population, the tiger population varies. So and you remove the fishes from small aquatic creatures, the fish production decreases. So and so forth. If you don't have forest, now the humans are in threat. That there is no water, there is no air. I give a very simple example to understand and simplify this system concept. Earlier, environment was considered as a no man's land. Now I will give a simple reverse engineering point. Madam, please remind me 10 minutes before at least, so that I can go quickly. If you go to train to catch a train now, paying, and you come back because the train is delayed, you paid 100 rupees by going to auto, and you came back another 100 rupees. Now you reverse engineer it. Why you are now forced to pay 100 rupees more? Because the train was late. Now ask the question, why? What are the reasons the train got delayed? I will say very simple, one or two questions, such points. Either there was fog, signal problem, train got delayed, or in the previous station there was no water. No water is a summer scenario, fog is a winter scenario. Why this has happened? This has happened because which are present, bounty amply present under harmony before. There was ample water in the rivers, in the wells, water was enough in the railway station. There was no problem in water filling. There was no chain pulling. Train only is time. There is enough fog, so the train get delayed because of the feasibility. So these are the issues. Now we are coming about biodiversity buildup in the land ecosystem. And as I told, tree population is very important for ecosystem restoration. Now I am coming to my action plan out of the fourth point of my sequence. This is the highway side land which I have been talking about. Restore the land ecosystem for along the highways for biodiversity buildup. This is the scenario. This is the highway system which I approached the Ministry of National Highway Authority of India, Ministry of Road Transport Highways. So if this land is remaining idle, within another 25 years, you will not be able to expand it. Let us generate ecological capitals out of it. So what I gave the concept, let us make a strategically designed plantation to build up terrestrial ecosystem and eco-capital generation. How it will be different? These are your usual plantation scenario. Let us change it to this. That is a green corridor development. So what are the novelty of this? What is it different? There is lot many science and engineering required to make that avenue plantation converted to a green corridor. What we made it? Plantation of 3 different type of plants in specific array to fit in the agroclimatic condition, scientifically designed or defined soil water management for quick establishment and rapid biomass accretion, plantation based arrangement based on canopy spread, leaf characteristics, growth rate, abiotic stress tolerance, and air pollutant tolerance index of the plants for better greenhouse gas sequestration. That's what I showed, point 15 and point 13 of sustainable development goal. Now, what are the eco-capital buildups? When I say eco-capital buildup, what are they? Renewable resource generation. These are the points. Underground water recharge, soil enrichment, crop productivity, biodiversity, biomass generation. These are all objectively defined work plans. These are not subjective. बहुत कम. आपके लिए 2 बहुत हो सकता है, मेरे लिए 200 बहुत नहीं है. कम आपके लिए कितना कम है, मेरे लिए वो कम नहीं हो सकता है. These are all objectively defined parameters, as Professor Sharma has told, that you should descriptively say what is required, how much required, when required, what type of material required. And then only that's how we assess our ecosystem build up along the highways based on these many features, that we have discrete parameters to monitor based on these points, so that we say our plantation has given has brought out the ecosystem development objectives. Now, this is a picture which has happened 70 kilometers south of Nagpur in Maharashtra. Niri is 70 kilometers far from this place. So 15-kilometer highway along National Highway of India. This was a terrain which was there before the plantation activity. And I am giving you, henceforth I will be giving some pictures which will give you the essence that how this has happened. Yeah. Aims and objectives I have told. This is a design of plantation. Yeah. These are color coded because of there are certain features. The first is yellow, second is bamboo sector, pink sector, red sector, white sector, green sector, and yellow sector. This is the whole highway how it has been painted. The purpose is any time of the year you will get this type of color coded plants. They are either a flower or a tree of leaf that type. The reason is it is not a monoculture, because our purpose is to develop a terrestrial ecosystem which will have habitat to encourage biodiversity buildup. Biodiversity does not essentially mean plant, it is plant and animal together. So this is how we executed the activity, not through giving the whole anything to an agency you do it. No, we ourselves monitor starting from pre-development to plantation and post-plantation management. All these how I am showing how it was in 0 day, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months. So this is how the plantation has come up. This is how it looks like. This is how the vegetation has come up in course of time. And you can see the different views of the plantation which are real. You can get it also in Google Earth. They are available. You can put this Jam to Hinganghat area. Now it is the present view of the ecosystem, how it looks from aerial. And this is the final biodiversity build up. Can I, madam, take another 5 minutes? or 3 minutes? 3. Okay. So this is the faunal diversity what we have come around that baseline and post plantation, that how many families of spiders, butterflies, dragonflies, and snakes and birds has been come up there along with that, so that to come up with the essential output of that ecosystem. And I have given biodiversity build up for me. All these are biodiversities which has come, and ultimately the human beings are in the top of the biodiversity, and that barren lands are now habitated by them. And how we have assessed this thing, all these parameters we have assessed: hydrogeology, soil, air quality, meteorology, noise intensity, biodiversity, flora and fauna, plant growth. All these parameters are objectively defined under sustainability index. So there is discrete value given to that, and we have come out that our system, our country, under the sustainable development goal, which is still diminishing or not able to come up, it is stagnant in the land use system and establish land ecosystem. We have utilized our knowledge, put a demonstration model that you see in this way you can build a five-side ecosystem, and this integration of knowledge, plant, animal, engineering, plantation model, site specific arrangement, agroclimatic consideration, all this brought together gives us the essence that yes, this type of model can bring you to a sustainable land environment management ecosystem where you can have all this type of activity. And if you want to protect this diversity, these animal corridors, you have to have foster there the growth and flourishment of this. You have to have a specific design plantation roadmap specific to the agroclimatic condition. I'll not go to much details of this. These are the diversities we have encountered there. After, before plantation, I have shown the barren land where there are no vegetation, nothing was there, and these are the diversity we have documented, inventorized there, which needs to be redo again now. And this is the last slide, how a barren land has been converted through integration of plant science, geological science, this is earth science, soil water management with agriculture science and hydrology, and floristic and faunal study. Along with that, the environmental studies of gaseous sequestration, along with that, socioeconomic development, all this, and carbon dioxide sequestration, that is under the environmental paradigm present global warming challenge. This is all integration of knowledge, and we have brought into a demonstration model. That is what knowledge utilization is. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Bijaya Sarangi. I think we can take one question.
Yeah, please.
There's time for only one question.
Anyone wants to have any query? Or as I told that this plantation is a scientifically designed plantation. Essentially, we focused on 5 parameters: plant growth rate, abiotic stress tolerance, because highway side land is different from agricultural land or forest land. In forest land, you get enough already decomposed biomass. You have soil carbon, we have soil organic, soil microflora. But highway side land is a compacted, man-made, engineered structure. The soil is not a fertile soil. The soil is rather a damaged, disturbed land ecosystem. So plant which can grow there in a compact zone where the soil is very compact, bulk density is more, water holding capacity is more, it is rock. So water stress tolerance, heat is too much there because there is mechanical blow of vehicles, wind blow, and temperature, because the tar becomes always 2 to 3, 4 degree more temperature. So humidity loss. In other ambience, in a forest ecosystem, when there are 10 plants, one plant may grow very easily. But stress tolerance, and for that stress tolerance, what are the enzymes responsible? Pollution emission from vehicles. So which plants can take more sulfur dioxide? Yeah, we have utilized there 85 species. There is not a single acacia or nilgiri. Rather, we have tried to establish a model considering 15 agroclimatic condition of our country. Then plants which will give a designed V-like shape. It is not a haphazard plantation of any plant anywhere. So that it becomes a V-like concept. The carriage is the center of the V. All the pollutants, the emissions which will be generated, there will be sequestered. The other thing is the highway safety. Highways are for high-speed mobility. We cannot plant any plant anywhere because the leaf litter which will fall in the highway will, or the flowering plants, they'll damage. So there are 5-6 points, and that we have taken into consideration.
Thank you very much.
Any one of you are welcome to interact later. I am here, so there is no point.
May I ask a question, sir?
Yeah, please.
Myself, Arpita Joy. So, sir, it's out of curiosity, very, really good work. So, the thing is, we are also facing something called as road kills. So, you spoke about how the plantations are right next to the roads, and how there are a lot of biodiversity found there after the work. But it also comes with the risk of road kills. So, again, just a question of curiosity, like what are the mitigations, like what are the things that you can do, we can do
Two,
to
three types. Like as I told once here, wildlife corridors. The plantation strategy in wildlife corridor will be different. So there will be good zone along the highway so that the animals cannot just have enough shelter before migrating or crossing the road. Like unlike the other thing when they make overbridges for any noise on the above below that highway, the animal will not grow through. They will get affected by the vibration when the vehicle goes over a highway. So I gave them the proposal: you don't go for overbridges, rather go for tunnels and make plantation much before along the tunnel so that animals can move around very quickly. The other thing is that first and second row, the highway has a specific sign strip. There will be visibility up to 3 meters. So the plants, you cannot put a bamboo plant in the first row because it will fall the leaf litter and it will also encourage wild boars to hide there and bore fast. The other thing is that don't put any fruit yielding plant along highways. Not recommended because that will allow more animals to come and migrate there and human interference. So those minimum things which are, we want to encourage biodiversity because once upon a time there was biodiversity in that highway. Now because of the vehicle interference or traffic congestion is there, we cannot completely avoid it, but we can strategize to minimize that. These are some points which we have considered while making the specific plants in specific row.
Thank
First
you very
rows are
much,
in
sir.
2.5 meter width, plant to plant. Row to row is 2.5 meter. Subsequently, there is a thick plantation of 1.5 meter. It's a specific design.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
How do you see these Western Ghat corridors in these terms? What's your great question? For Western Ghat corridors, we have regular traffic, especially in the monsoons and all. We get a lot of mortality. How do you look at that Western Ghat corridor?
You see, when that is population is very high, biodiversity population, and enough your vegetation is not there in their habitat,
What is the mitigation measures?
you have to change the plantation design along it.
Only plantation, but roads are passing by plantation.
That will happen everywhere. When there will be roads, there will be casualty. You cannot just.
So why don't you elevate the roads in Western Ghat?
No, it is not possible. Your people will say that how we will migrate from one place to another. The question will be the business, the trade, human movement, traffic will be completely paralyzed. That's how we have made the roads. The roads came into picture as an essential industrial sector because we need connectivity. But we have to strategize to minimize it.
Thank you. We'll discuss later.
Yeah, we'll discuss.
Yes, I think we can discuss. Thank you very much, sir. Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Sarangi, for a very informative session. I now request the chairperson of today's session to present a memento to Dr. Sarangi. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Moving to the last invited talk of this first technical session, this talk will be delivered by Dr. Pradip Sarmokadam. Dr. Pradip Sarmokadam is an overall in charge of day-to-day functioning of Goa State Biodiversity Board and Goa State Wetland Authority. Sir is also a nodal officer for state level steering committee for climate change, member of Goa State Environment Protection Council, member of State Technical Advisory on Waste Management of GSUDA. Sir is a graduate in chemistry, has a master's degree in ecology and environment, and a PhD interdisciplinary earth science. With this brief introduction, I now welcome Dr. Sarmokadam to deliver his talk entitled Integration of Solution Based and Participatory Approach in Animal Science for Sustainability.
I would request a mic, yes. If possible, the mic. I think it is there somewhere. Thank you. Till the time presentation up gets loaded, I would like to say that we have 6+ highways which are passing through the Western Ghats, and there is a plan for another 6 highways. That's what I was told. And with so many highways and fragmentation of ecosystems, I think it is need that seriously there is involvement of ecologists and technocrats to actually see the need identification. The problem is once the highways are done, we think of plantation strategies and plantations, but whether highway is required is all this starts from the basic behavioral, the attributes of the today's generation, that we want to drop till the shop. We don't even want to drop at the bus station and walk to the market. So we want to get down in front of a florist and then pick up a bouquet irrespective of traffic jam. So we want more highways because see, something is little far, so Paroda highway is required. Then one more highway is required. So I think it is a very serious requirement to look at the overall model of development, so-called development, and unending aspiration. And when we talk about animal sciences, I thought of taking this particular topic because, as Sir said, he is not an animal expert, neither me is a zoologist. But one thing for sure, I'm looking at the biodiversity and that too with people's participation. My mandate is to involve people and basically derive the policies that will take the state to entrust, the to address the issues of biodiversity conservation. The main thing what I want to talk is integration of solution based and participatory approach, because we always have an approach which talks about how many problems exist and then we don't have any solutions. So we have to look at the approach which is solution based. And if we want to look at animal science, I think the only way we can go ahead is participatory approach. uh, Please go to the next slide. Can I have a slide set? Oh, I'll do it from here. Okay. See, look at this. We have almost 4% human population, livestock of human population, and stray dogs. If you look at the estimates, they will range from somewhere 11 to 29, and there is no estimation. We have tiger census. We have so many populations. We really do not have population for the animal, which come under the animal science. If you look at the definition of animal science, it's basically those animals which are most interacting with the humans and those which are controlled by humans, or basically like say livestock, domestic livestock, and all this comes under biodiversity. When we do people's biodiversity registers, we document this biodiversity at village level. And the whole purpose of having this is, since we know only 1.7 million of say 8 to 9 million species which are estimated to be there, the problem is we do not know 7 parts. We know only 1/7 of the number of species that are available. And when we look at this scenario, it is very important to see that the domestic livestock, especially indigenous, if I ask my villagers, which is your native hen, or which is the native dog that we have in our state, or native cow that we have, it has become a victim of policy changes which are based on very, very short-sighted developmental aspirations. And in 1985, everybody was told we want to go for a white revolution and let's bring all Holstein and jerseys, and we have them, and then we have to put air conditioning in cow sheds because now they cannot sustain. And then our externalities are so high that finally we are thinking now, let's go back to indigenous. And by that time there is no indigenous species, because everything is a there is very less pure species. So in this situation, in the changing scenario of policies which are designed only considering 5 years. I want to give all the outputs in 5 years. So next 5 years another policy. Sometimes it is undoing of the policies which have been done in the last 5 years. So all this is finally ending up in the ecosystem. So look at this, whether it is sheep, whether it is all the animals around us. When we look at animal sciences as a word of the topic of this conference, that's why I'm coming back of conference and then my topic. So we look at all this. It is not only with biological, physical and social sciences associated with this animal science, but also food, nutrition, and then with food nutrition will come zoonosis. And I think this conference is very nicely covering these aspects. Let's go to the means physiology, nutrition, all that. But again, if you look at it, it also calls for improved animal breeding, growth and nutrition, because then we are looking at white revolution. There was a green revolution, and now there is a aspiration for blue revolution. So I was talking few days back to a person. We have 29 invasive species in our waters, and I say, you have polluted all the land with your green revolution, where there is more chemical than microflora in the soil. Now you have polluted all the livestock. There is no pure breed. Now what was left was oceans. We have UN estimates saying that 2050 more plastic than the fish, and we want a blue revolution where we are going to also contaminate our oceans and waters. So our simple philosophy that we believe as a biodiversity people who are interested in conservation is, can we look at the native which are adapted, which are evolved species with us? And that's how when we look at animal science, study animal products after harvest, all this comes under animal sciences. The purpose of having higher number of experts in animal sciences is basically how much we can bring out of them. The interrelationship between a farmer and the domestic livestock, which existed maybe a few years back. Now we have milks that are coming through automatically milked machines. And what is that connect between the farmer and the livestock, and what type of food we are getting? So when we are looking at the quantities, are we looking also at the qualities of the food that we derive, and what are the interrelationship? Sir spoke about ecology. Now what are the interrelationships when we talk about animal sciences? We always talk about the ecological interrelationship between the species, between biotic, abiotics, the trophic cycles. Everything is okay. When we look at animal science, that's why I give the definition of animal science first. And when we look at this, the interrelation between animal and human, I think these ethics which we have inherited from our ancestors. I was part of a Panchamahabhut conference by Niti. The concern is not that we have a rich heritage of Panchamahabhut. What happened is we have gone to such a materialistic level that we are not inculcating any of the lifestyles that we are we have actually inherited, having highest philosophies and having highest irresponsible lifestyles, wherein we only flirt the waste into the oceans, and then these philosophies don't work actually. So zoos where we rely on animal scientists to establish breeding program, nutrition program, and help preserve exotic wildlife. These are all the objectives as per the animal science institution. Now the problem here is to help preserve exotic wildlife, nutrition program, breeding program. When you want to understand and modify and temper and edit the programs of all livestock, you want them to milk when you want. You want the productivity. All the bananas have to come at the same time. So all cattle have to, breed at the in vitro fertilization. Just go to the next. Yeah. So what happens is, how much are we going to tamper with entire animal science? The best animal scientists are those who can give the best farm results, because I was also part of a organization which had thousands of acres of farms, maybe in Kenya, and before I came to government system, I was looking at them, how they breed their cattle, how they breed their goats, and it is just taken as entity numbers and how you are going to make best out of it. So animal science, is it the animal science which we are looking at, or are we looking at the ethical part of that? So the traditional journey of history of coexistence is reflected in our communities, those who are still close to nature. I'm talking about tribals, I'm talking about the sacred groves, I'm talking about those people who don't kill an animal which is left in our state we have, they are left for the, they say, for the god. Actually, god doesn't eat any animal. And because the human doesn't want to eat that animal, at least the healthiest animal is left out. Don't touch it, don't kill it. I have seen it will go and damage your crop, still people will not disturb. Is it not a way to preserve germplasm? I always look at this. These are the things which are not actually institutionalized, and we are looking at more and more convenient breedings. Now the problem in this area are created as a result of human interference, and hence the solution will also require human efforts. I always say this. We say that solution will not come from heaven. We have interfered with nature. There are theories which say that leave the nature to itself, it will restore. I said don't. Eupatorium has come. It is there everywhere. You will have to uproot it and throw if you really want to restore your ecosystems, whether it is forest ecosystem or anything. Because we have interfered to disturb, we will have to interfere to restore. Now I'm looking at the Goan dog species, Luthi Kutro. We know that it was used by the hunters when they go to hunt. But do we have pure breed? I'm not yet finding the pure breed. I'm looking at the boundary areas now, beyond Goa and Konkan, because that is where I have found my lost rice species. So these are the areas which are less developed. So with more development, more inputs of animal science, and if you have the advanced animal scientific research, I'm afraid that my pure breeds will be lost, because we want to tamper with everything. Looking at the further policies, programs, changing ground interventions, this is contradicting. I was in Gujarat looking at the biodiversity, and they told us that we never listened to government of India when they told us to go for Holstein. I'm talking about a few areas, not the entire Gujarat. And they told us they were still with Sahiwal, Kankre, Sindhi, and their gear. And they said we never changed. They have still their seed sharing systems, very healthy ecosystems, and they are very wealthy also. I found those people. And we were the first people to go for the reforms, and reforms to such a level that we have one Konkan Kapila which is preserved in Konkan and one Shwet Kapila which is there in Goa, but very few of them are actually pure breeds. I'm telling you, I was on a small research up to Shirshi we went, and we found that the Konkan Malnad Gidda, that there is a pure breed. It is preserved by few people, including the golden cow and all those. I could see 8, 10 species. But the problem is, do we have a pure breed conservation program, or we are only looking at the productivity of, which is outcome of animal science? So when we look at the integrated approach, next. I will quickly pass through. Madam, please alert me when there are 10 minutes or 5 minutes. Now, this is the topic which I want to discuss in brief, whether it is integration, solution-based, participatory, and sustainability. When I talk about integration, I talk about circular model of harnessing complementary interrelationships. There are definitions, but these interrelationships which are complementary to each other. See, having a cattle, having a dog, the dog which goes behind the herds and it protects them, there is a certain type of ecosystem that has been developed. I'm only focusing on this. I'm not going to talk about wildlife or anything, because this animal science is only focusing on this. Now, when we have this traditional circular model where nothing is wasted, and now look at a system where cutting of paddy doesn't happen because there is a mechanized farming. Paddy is cut only from top, down paddy is wasted, and then they have to burn it because next time they don't have any option to cut it. And there is such a problem because you don't have cattle. There is no integration. So if you don't have an integration of farm with cattle, then you don't need fodder. If you don't need hay, you have machines which have replaced. What happens to the earthworms? I always ask them. I went on a mechanized to see, and the person who was doing very nicely explaining, sir, look how the frogs are jumping. All frogs are saved, he told me. I'm not killing single bullfrog. Because I was talking to him and contradicting. I said, sir, did you hear the earthworm shouting there? I asked him. They were crying there when I said, they can't jump like frogs. So there are many disturbances we are doing. The simple way of, plowing with animal was the simple, but we want more volume. And people, there are problems. So solution based means, now how we solve? We did a simple thing. We sold their 25 tons of paddy by branding with the state. When they got the money, 25,000 more square meter under the cultivation department. That is also one way of giving solutions. There had to be hard interventions. When I talk about the solutions, there will be very hard interventions, bold interventions, and you have to break Sometimes they say it is not business of government to be in the business. I said yes, government will have to do business because government can do authentic and ethical business if you do. And if you do that, you have to think out of box. So that's how we did. And the solution was simple: branding and selling brought back more agriculture under cultivation. Now they start listening to you. The moment farmers start listening to you, then you tell them, can we reduce mechanical farming in at least those areas which are low lying, which are having double crops, which are having lot of humus, which have lot of organic. So it is not something that going to come with one policy statement and you are going to get the change. You need to constantly work with the communities. First, develop credentials. And to tell you, my friends, we have lost all the credentials because when we go to people, because I work with people, and people from tribal areas, they ask us, Sir, how, why did you tell us to first purchase this dirty cow which is not able to survive in my area? Now you have come to tell me to preserve the indigenous variety. He says, because I'm inheriting the legacy also. So government has really lost the credibility to talk to people, let me tell you. So it is not a very matter of pride, that with some research we go in front of people and we show them miracle because they were told to plant Bixa. They planted Bixa. Nobody went back to buy Bixa because somebody told there is a demand of Bixa plant. Everybody planted Bixa and there was no purchase. So they brought all the Bixa through in front of the ZAO office and they went back. Now this year we have purchased organic colors. Today, tomorrow we are launching the natural colors for Holi. And there we said we are purchased Bixa at 180 rupees. Now I told farmers, sir, I can buy your 200 kilo of Bixa. Can you produce? Now they say, give me a guarantee. I give a guarantee. If I purchase, then they will believe in me. Next time they will listen to me. So the problem is the lost credibility which we have lost because of all these problems. We have to be really participatory, because if somebody feels that we are going to have all research through universities and through researchers and we are going to solve all problems through our universities departments, I am telling you, it is a daydream. It's never going to happen. Only people can save biodiversity, only people can conserve biodiversity, and for that people have to be empowered. And Pai sir is here, he is a member of our PBR validation committee. He has seen how we do people's biodiversity registers on ground level, where people are identifying. So many new traditions are identified, so many new species are identified, so many new caves are identified. This happens through people's register, and I would urge that universities have to take it further carrying out the research, further scientific validation, bringing it, making it simple to the people. That is where we look at the participatory, where people give us the problems. We so don't solve the problems from the hypothetical problems. And as sir very rightly said, Sharma ji, that all our research ends in the library. So there is no meaning for such research. We have to do the useful research, which is useful for the people, and research which also enriches the pure science. I think not only the applied science part. So sustainability, there are definitions of sustainability, but we already had a sustainable model, which we have lost, and we are trying to rebuild sustainability with the new parameters. It is not going to happen. We don't need to rebuild, some ecosystem in the area where we have lost the native ecosystem. I always tell engineers, why did you cut all the trees before making this building? While designing the architecture, could you not save few trees, new trees, so that your plantation load comes down? Where is the 300-year tree you are going to cut and then plant a sapling, which will take another 10 years, to show its existence? You can't make out whether it's tamarind or amla or gulmore. That much small plant is there. So why do we do this? So integration of environmental planning has to be at all levels, especially when we talk about the highways. So challenges are many: growing demand, intensification, upskilling required, development of sustainable, animal production system is required, because we have 4 lakh liters of milk requirement. We are producing only 1 lakh. Now, where will all the milk come from other places? If it has to come, our local cow cannot produce. Then what do we do about it? So next, then look at, these are the major challenges. Waste management. Today, all the waste is entering all the ecosystems, including residual waste. This is the main problem I felt, because of this, our stray dogs are entering becoming more ferocious, entering the spots, locations where migratory birds come. We have been observing many locations and we found that number of birds coming are less. So our pets, animal science, those which belong to animal science, and we have so much love for the pets, are we really controlling them, disciplining them? They are going and destroying all our birding sites. What do we do? Even in wetland, I found, half dog waiting with one ferocious acting. Just you come and I will consume you. So what will happen to my migratory birds which are coming? So this imbalance basically because of both types of waste, where animal are coming near to the humans. The monkeys have come. I don't know which is left. Some species are becoming more bold to now come back, to the humans, and this is the dangerous problem that animal science is facing. Interaction and more proximity between these, too much proximity. I'm telling you, I've seen people with domestic cattle, literally licking each other. Now this is the problem. What is going to happen? There are viruses, there are bacteria loads, they are different organism. I accept that you have a love for them. They are our, you give them a name, they sleep in your bed, all that is fine. What is going to happen with the transfer of zoonosis? This is a too much proximity, loss of habitats. Now we have brought many, I remember that bonnet macaque used to come in my village when I was a small child, to eat the lices from the hair. And they used to, that was an association. When I look at all the domesticated, because this animal science is only looking at the animals controlled by humans. So when I look at all of them, today it does not come. So what was the need for, too many experiments with loss of habitats? They could come more to humans. You go to Amboli Ghat or any Ghat, they are literally flicking from your hand. They will take away. So they have become. Is it advisable that we change their food habitats? You like Shrikhand, so you're putting it to your doggy also. It is not its food. The problem is changing food habits. Then, too many experiments with hybrids and transcontinental loss of. There was a case which we were trying to book in Daboli Airport, the green turtle. One environmentalist was very nicely praising. Then I called him and said, please don't praise about it. It's an exotic species which is invasive, which has been, which is illegally traded, and you have found it. Don't say that you have found a miraculous thing. Then he was educated and he stopped. He told TV everybody. The problem is these are the illegally traded pets, which is also part of the science. And there is a transcontinental loss of. I was also in charge of in a port for ISPS. So I found that some small rhinos were coming alongside with the birds, exotic birds. This is a great trade. And then we had to, you literally shoot out. Orders have to be given to the my defense personnel. So problem is what is happening actually, from where the trade starts, where it is going, it's not very good situation. Tampering with food habitat, I already told you that marketing food forces are taking over natural foods. What used to feed your local dog can survive in any situation, now you need dog food. Then they don't, many of the cats, they don't eat anymore any mice and rats. They need only cat food, and they are scared of all the rats. So the purpose of coexistence, which I am telling, all definitions are changing because we are tampering with all this. Overpopulation of pets, stray dogs, I told you. Conflicts, road kills, loss of corridor, the spelling mistake, loss of corridors, prey predator ratio. When sir was presenting highway, I was expecting that he will be talking about road kills and the strategies to build the roads. And I am telling you that whether we need underpass or we need overpass, how many good overpasses and underpasses we have really built, and how many animals are using it, or they are built in such a way to benefit the contractor, and all the animals are still dying, even in spite of overpasses and underpasses. And overpasses have to be such that they don't realize that there is road actually. The road has to go below. There shouldn't be disturbance. You use the technology to see that you do the least damage. The problem is, there was a case of EIA, last point, 2 points, and I'll finish, where they said that there was a big wall proposed in the turtle nesting site, and we said, how are you going to divert the turtles? They said, no, once they come down. I said, are you going to put signals underwater? So same thing happens to, the turtle will not understand our signals perhaps. It has understood the signal of Almighty, that where it has to come back to hatch, where it took birth. And that is what they have their signals. We are trying to create now more signals that, animal has to be wise. They have to follow the underpass in the highway. They cannot go overpass. The problem is they don't understand. They are scared of us. And the problem is, uh, uh, the conflicts, road kills. That's why in PBR we are catching road kills. We are finding their corridors. And then what happens to the prey predator ratio? This is very important. So we bring some, I was talking to one of the PCCFs, and I asked him, sir, there are too many gores and there are too many wild boars. अरे यार डरो मत, थोड़े टाइगर लेके आएंगे कहीं से, खाने दो उनको.
I said, how are you going to decide about prey predator? There are houses in the middle. There is all mess there. You have not studied the ecosystem. Somebody gets a wild idea. Let's do it. I have a power. So let's change all. Okay, bring this cow gives more milk. Bring it to our country. Let's do it. At least do it in some areas where you will understand the life cycle and the impacts, and then take it to the whole country. You have spoiled all the breeds of all domesticated animal and the whole animal science with some idiot's wild idea. We have lost all the pure species. So our problems, we have to have, I will not go into all this, I'll finish it fast. See, I've made slides to show how integrated ecosystems already existing in agriculture, in Khazan lands of Goa, in forests of Goa, and what is happening versus conflict versus coexistence. We are looking at conflicts, the coexistence is gone. I'm not going to go into much details. Even the natural pest control, we knew some species which we were aware to use as a pest control. Now only we have 7 times dipping the grapes, not even spraying, dipping, literally dipping 7 times. First layer, second layer. So are we consuming pesticide or sugar coated pesticide? What are we eating? Is it a grape or a crepe? We have to actually look at what we are eating. The problem is integrated ocean management is also a concept. When I'm talking about integrated animal sciences management, it looks at also this. What is happening is scarce resources. We have a completely integrated model which is proven, not only integrated within the ecosystem but integrated with the social fabric and ecosystem, where people had their surnames based on the task what they have to do, whether it is Bankar, whether it is Palni, whether it is Bomkar. These are the people who have surnames. There is a small crevice, means it is known as bomb. And the people who, there is a village where all these maximum Bomkar stay, and they come still from that village to remove this crevice. So what an integration. What more integration can you imagine? This is a world-class integration of everything in Khazan ecosystem, which includes management. And we have replaced this with tenant associations and Mamlatdar becoming in charge of this. And the whole social ecology and socio ecosystem has been crashed. And we are trying to manage this with babus moving the files. And the file gets approved when the bund has been already gone. 150 meter of bund has gone, 130 hectares of soil has gone. Now the bund file has been approved. And then they say, no, this money will not be available sufficient, because that time it was 20 meters, now it is 200 meters. Chalo, go next file. By the time file comes, there is no. This is a system we are going to restore. So I think we are incompatible with nature, and the compatible systems of these Khazan have been gone. So I won't go into much details. My time is almost coming near. So what I can give solution is earliest identification and registration of existing pure indigenous breeds of maximum possible species in India. We have to start this mission on a big way. I'm talking to NBA for recording traditional knowledge. I have no faith that all the scientists together will do even 10% of the work. If we do with the tribals and with the people, scientists have to facilitate. That is what work we can do. We need broad-minded people. It is not lifetime possible for, and I think our Dean Madam will, she is in line with my thinking. And the way forward is coexistence rather than conflicts, managing all problems. If you don't manage waste management, then your all mangrove species will be contaminated with what type of mercury and cadmium, I don't know, and where the source also you will not be able to come to know, because your lithium, so-called lithium ion battery, will contain many other heavy metals which go into any place. Habitat loss. Now PBRB's approach, this is what I always tell people. You have to have people's approach based on people's biodiversity register, identify the problems there, and then you put all your science together to take it ahead. Setting and observing scientifically derived protocols to control health issues. This is very important. People have to be educated how to deal with your pets, your domesticated cattle, and now educated because we have lost the traditional wisdom. So now we'll have to record it somewhere and again educate them. We have, undo option we have used. So now we'll have to do control and put, redo function. Now, local state policies, frameworks, these don't exist for many of the state biodiversity strategy and action plan, do not address the animal science issue. We have to look at it. Unless you have a state document which empowers even the animal husbandry, Our department doesn't know which are the local species. This is the situation. Official letter I have got that we have no such records. ICAR has done one study, that is not our study. But the species, does it belong to your state? Yes. Then it is your species. This is the level of quarantining we are working and silo system we are working. So we have to have socio-economic cultural research, multidisciplinary approach, and I congratulate the university for having addressed this. This is, I was thinking this is not Indian, but it is a Indian. There is a stamp. It is from Kanpur, and these are Indian species. This is my last slide. So we talk about this is our motto of our board. Jaiva Jiva Vavidya Rakshasya Jananam Bhavibhutya, means if you want to conserve biodiversity for bright prosperity, we have to look at conservation as the major mean. Thank you very much.
Any questions?
Yes, please.
Thank you for finishing right on time.
I have a question, sir.
You finished right on time.
No, I was afraid you don't have to.
Sir, that's the introduction of the exotic species, etc. And but if you look at the ever increasing population, can this indigenous species sustain the ever growing population? That is the conflict where we need to have the various
Yes.
types of revolutions and other things, sir. Thank you.
Very correct. Now, my point is very simple. Have we taken any efforts to institutionalize the indigenous seed banks or to look at the behavior? How much externality are we getting from our hybrid species? I fully accept that we need more food, we need more milk, we need all this. And then how much we are spending on our health? Recent there was discussion on externalities in our health management. How much are we spending on insurance? How much are we spending on our hospitals? How much are we spending on our health issues? And are we integrating the total value chain of our exotic foods and exotic? I accept that it is not possible tomorrow, but when the population increased multiple folds, it was not overnight. We have also, problem is we have undone many things in between. We have made so many mistakes that one mistake of acacia plantation in our state, if I take, and there is no fruit bearing tree in these areas where there is acacia, how much food security have we lost? And now to undo that, it will be a huge mammoth task. So one wrong decision, that's what I was talking. See, when you are increasing your food demand, at the same time, if you had increased the plantation of fruit bearing trees and fruit crops and all that, you would have more land. We have an excellent system of kuragar in our state, but this was not adopted when we did the afforestation. Kuragars are proven models from January to December. There are many farmers who don't even go out of their farm. They are self-sufficient. But we have not multiplied this model. My point is we have taken 200 crores of Campa fund and we are doing timber cultivation when we have no permission to cut the trees. So you have increased the timber cultivation and the food demand has not been looked at. So our silos approach has created such a situation that now we have reached a tipping point. Now we cannot live without hybrids. We need hybrids. But can we have a natural farming model where Gujarat governor is talking about natural farming, not organic? There is a clear distinction between natural farming, organic farming, and also chemical fertilized farming. Now, these are the new things which we have to look at it. All the state heads were called, all the departments were called, and the Honorable Governor of Gujarat spoke only about natural farming. And I think if you look at these models, he has proven 250 acres of his plot, he has proven how he has become competitive with the hybrids, with indigenous, without fertilizers. There are proven models, but the time is like we cannot believe in a situation where we don't get hybrids and don't have that confidence. We need to create models where we'll get the confidence, where we'll get the confidence of having indigenous yet sufficient productivity per square meter. And we will have to reclaim some lands where we have really done, grave mistakes of putting trees like Nilgiri and acacia in our state. At least I won't talk about all other states. If we do the plantation, I can tell you last example of one village of Kurtorim which has got Memia Suriga, more than 2000 plants, and that's why their agriculture productivity is maximum. I was always wondering with least fertilizer how this village can grow. Until the time I did the personal survey, I found more than 2000. I said, kudos to your ancestors, not to you. 2000 trees of Mamia suriga with the highest potential of pollination, your 30% pollination is happening more other than other lands just by putting this tree. Then I said, Garuga Pinta, you take it, put it all along, native species. We have studied these species. Your pollution, pollination will go up little more. You don't have to lose that confidence that indigenous cannot beat. But we need more models to prove it. I fully accept that. We just cannot accept the hypothesis and say that theory will work. We'll have to really prove it on ground. And we are taking 2 such projects in Goa where we'll prove it on ground. And then perhaps we'll be able to talk with more confidence. At the moment, it is at concept level. Maybe we will be failing in our assignment and then we'll say, yes, we need hybrid. Or if we work, then we can prove that yes, we can work without them. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your enlightening words and your contribution that you're doing immensely towards the nature and society. I now request the chairperson of this session to present a token of appreciation to Dr. Sarmokadam. Thank you. Thank you, sir. With this, we have come to the end of the first technical session. I now request Pai sir to present a token of appreciation to our chairperson, Professor Savita Kerkar, and rapporteur, Dr. Siddhi Jalmi. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. With this, we have come to the end of the first technical session of this conference. We will now break for lunch and assemble in the auditorium at 2:30. Thank you.